What is up, everyone? It is Mr. Rolldaddy here, and the baseball playoffs are in full swing. I guess you can say pun intended, but anyways, there are some teams I really do like this year in the baseball playoffs, and I believe it's very competitive this year. And now that the wild card is done, a lot of the teams remaining are just so competitive in so many ways. And I've got some bold picks that I'm going to make and would like to share. Now, before I get started, I do want to remind you that, as is always the case so far, all of these views expressed in this video are completely of my own. They don't represent any of those of Major League Baseball, any team, any media outlet, any players, or anyone or anything else otherwise affiliated with anything regarding the baseball playoffs. It's all completely my own. And second reminder before I get started, if you are sports betting on any games or any playoff series or on any teams, I assume no responsibility whatsoever if you lose money on sports bets, as you are the only one who is responsible for your bets. So please, bet at your own discretion, because I assume no responsibility if you lose any money to sports bets during these playoffs. All right, so let's get going. Let's swing this bat. Let me show you who I like this year in the playoffs. Now, first series, Mariners-Astros. I really like this Mariners team, how they have ended a drought. I mean, they have a young core of players. They're quite a great story. Their fans, they have been waiting for this moment for 21 years. And they're really an up-and-coming force in the league. I think they're going to be competitive for quite a while. But Astros have a lot more experience. They've made the playoffs before, and I mean, even though they don't have as many players as they have had from 5 years ago, they're still a very competitive team, and their play always showed that, with them winning over 100 games again, and that really could be a factor if you're asking me. Anyways, here's my pick. I'm going to make a bold prediction that the Mariners are going to be the ones that come out ahead. They're so motivated that they're there and they want to be there. I think their young core, they've got something very special coming. And I get that the Mariners did struggle against the Astros in some games he played against them, but they've got a very special group of guys out there, and I think they're going to come ahead. I'm going to say Mariners win this series in 4 games. Now, Guardians and the Yankees. I mean, the AL Central is so tight, and quite a close race this year with the White Sox, Twins, and the Guardians. So they really had to fight it out against 2 other teams. And first half of the season, and even the whole season, Yankees put on a show. But they had some pretty bad losing streaks in the second half of the year. So this makes for a tough debate for me. Would a team that just squeaked it out in a tough division get the job done, or would a team that dominated much through the first half of the year and then, still put up good showings but fall apart in some ways, would they be the one that would falter here? Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Yankees are still going to pull it off, but it's going to take them the full 5 games to do. I mean, their skid's really going to get to them at some point, and I don't think they're going to dominate like a lot of people think they will. And I think the Yankees will still win this series, but it's going to be tougher for them to do so. 5 games is what's going to happen. Now, this is going to be a very exciting series, Padres and Dodgers. So, some Southern California division foes, and they're 2 of the most talented teams in all of baseball right now. Padres made a great trade to get Juan Soto. They're very exciting, and they've got a lot of good guys that have made their team competitive. I really like what they did against the Mets, and they put on the good showings that they needed to show at the right time. However, you can't deny that the Dodgers have more experience. They have been there. They've done it. So what am I thinking? I know how good the Dodgers are. They've been a force for quite a while now. I'd say the past decade. But I'm going to go a full 5-game series with the Padres coming out. I mean, obviously Juan Soto's huge pickup, and I'm seeing the rest of their core. They're just going to come through. So, this is another bold pick, but yes, I'm going to pick the Padres coming out on top against the Dodgers in the Battle of Southern California teams. Now, Phillies and Braves. This is a pretty exciting series between two division rivals and in the NL East, and Bryce Harper, he's always a good threat. But, again, the Braves, they just won the World Series last year. And, I mean, they lost Freddie Freeman, but they still put on a good showing. There's a lot to them now. What am I thinking? All right, yes, I get the Phillies won last night, but I'm still thinking the Braves are going to take the rest of the 3 games. I mean, if you're asking me, the Braves are just still miles ahead of the Phillies, and I've got more to them. They have a little bit more experience in the playoffs than what the Phillies have, and I do believe that as the defending champions, you have some motivation that only comes from winning the championship, and I'm thinking the Braves get the job done. Now, this is an interesting American League Championship series. Mariners and Yankees, a budget market against the rich fellows. I know the Yankees have quite a bit of superstars. They always do. And Aaron Judge, what a great year he had. And they have the edge in spending to get guys to make their team competitive. But Mariners, they're a team that have built themselves up. Now, Yankees, I mean, they'd be clear-cut favorites, and the Mariners would be the team nearly everybody wants to win, and this is really going to be something you might be talking about here. I'm picking the Mariners to win in 7 games. I do like their momentum. I like the underdog, and, Mariners had a great winning streak this year. And that, I mean, winning like 15 or however many games he won in a row in baseball, that's no fluke. Baseball is such a grind, and your team really has to be healthy, and they've really got to come through day after day to win that many games in a row. And, I'm thinking the Mariners are going to have enough momentum to make the World Series this year. I know this is a bold statement. Very, very bold, especially with the Yankees and Astros still going at it. But I think the Mariners are just going to have some momentum that it's just come from within them from having to go over 2 decades without a single playoff appearance. And quite honestly, some previously unfair playoff structures that really, left out the Mariners for quite a bit as well. And now that there's better playoff structure, and now that the Mariners have really gotten themselves to this point, I do think the Mariners could really make the World Series this year. Now, I'm thinking it's a Padres-Braves NLCS. Yet another East Coast versus West Coast battle, and I think this is going to be quite a seesaw. I mean, if this matchup happens, I don't think any one of those teams would just dominate. It would really need quite a bit of games to go through, because there's just tremendous talent there on both teams. This would be a close series. Now, who would I think would win? The defending champions or the exciting up-and-coming team? Well, here is your answer. I'd pick the Padres to win in 6 games. I mean, I really do believe a Padres-Braves series would at the very least be tied at 2 games apiece after 4. And I do think the Padres, they'd end up pulling away in the series. And I think it would be one of those instances where final 2 games just go to the Padres, and they just are the ones who would just get the momentum going on their side after a tied series. If it came down to a series tied at 2 games between these 2 teams, I'd like the Padres a little more to really be the ones that could win the extra 2 games. And quite honestly, it would not shock me if this NLCS went to a Game 7, because these teams just have talent, and they've got a lot to like to them. Now, I'm picking a Mariners-Padres World Series. I mean, these are protected rivals in baseball that play each other every year, and even though it's the most bizarre one, but it has like nothing to it in terms of history or geography like a lot of other protected American versus National League rivalries do, and it would be a very bizarre World Series matchup, and not just for that, but neither team has a great history of even making the World Series. I mean, Padres have only been there twice, never won, and the Mariners are the only existing team in all of baseball to have never participated. But it's my picks, and I really do like the Mariners having some momentum. I think there's got to be something in them that has got to have them, like, knowing that they're the only existing franchise in all of baseball that has never made a World Series right now. And Padres, I mean, they're building something special there. They've brought in a lot of big-name players, and they've developed a lot of good players, too. Who am I picking? Now, obviously, a new first-time champion. I mean, if this matchup happened, it would just be so tough to see knowing that one team is going to have to lose and still not have a title. Though I do think it would be nice to see the team which wins to get their first, but if it came down to a Mariners-Padres World Series like I'm picking, I mean, I know this is going to be hard for Mariners fans to hear, but I just really pick the Padres if it was a Padres-Mariners World Series. I mean, they've just got a lot. Padres just have a lot more to them right now, and I do like how the Mariners have built their team, but I'm thinking right now, Padres are the best team out there to win the World Series. It's a bold pick. Quite a bold pick, I know, but it's my pick. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you really enjoyed this video, and I know I'm making some bold picks, but you never know. I may be right on them. So, appreciate y'all watching. Enjoy these baseball playoffs, and really just have a good day.